And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us here for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. And today marks the 12th anniversary of these free monthly energy updates. Originally, we presented them as a podcast. Back then, it was called The Ancient Wings Show. And some of you that are here today might remember those sessions. But 8 years ago, we changed the name to Conversations with Michael and started streaming live in a video format. But of course, a lot of those early recordings never quite met our current HD quality standards, so you won't find any of them on our YouTube channel. But the role I've been playing all these years really hasn't changed. I know it would be a lot more entertaining if I was willing to share these monthly updates while playing the role of a weather forecaster. I could have created some really exciting stories based on a pending cold front of energy coming from the south or some really dark clouds moving in from the east. And all that could be really stimulating if we were truly to believe that life is just happening to us, including our weather. Using that approach would certainly have given our minds something to worry about, something to prepare for, but that is not who we are, nor is it who I sense is watching these shows. Most of you are simply tired of playing games. You have fully bought into being a conscious creator of your own experience. You just want a little support to remember how you do that. So thank you for all of your support over all these years. And we hope that wherever you call home, all is indeed well in your life, which we know has its ups and downs because we're in the middle of the most intense transformation humanity has ever witnessed, ever experienced. We too feel both the excitement and the extreme intensity from both within us and all around us. And it can be, a real challenge to maintain any sense of balance. So it would be natural to feel a little overwhelmed at times because so much is being rearranged inside of us. It might take a while to realign your human self with the presence of your soul, both its passion for living and its joy for now being a conscious creator. And it takes even longer to see if our inner reality is truly having any impact on the collective consciousness of this human family. So this might be a really good time to give yourself all the time you need to care for yourself like you never have before. Self-care should be at the very top of all of your priorities. Nobody needs to burn out in the name of being in service. Forget the weather forecast. Go for a walk in the woods. Listen to the sound of a bird, or go dance in the rain. Whatever self-care means to you, it will help to support the transition that all of us are feeling. So today's session celebrates these past 12 years with a new series titled the iBody series, in honor of what Michael keeps calling a quasi-physical experience with your soul. It truly represents a new way of being human, less physical, but oddly enough, more present. And of course, this same theme is being highlighted in all of our upcoming workshops and classes because it radically changes our relationship to a biological system of reality, which of course includes the human body, one that has supported this human experience for ages. But there comes a time when it's simply time to change. I know Michael also wants to share his own insights as it relates to such a radical shift. It represents an opportunity not only for all of us, but for all future generations to more easily experience our soul, our divine nature as a human being. Wouldn't that be nice? If we're not dragging our lineage in all those conflicted, unresolved issues into every single lifetime. So we invite all of you to just step back for a moment and feel into the role that so many of us are playing at this time. Because this is such an incredible time to experience being human. Despite all the problems that face this planet in the state of this conflicted human family, there's a reason to be hopeful and concerned at the same time. But that question remains what makes this lifetime so different from any other. Well, in the past, being fully conscious of the presence of the soul, that didn't leave behind too many living examples. But today, there are thousands of human beings who have chosen to consciously embody this presence, who are now, as we speak, freely radiating their own light as a way of life. And for the most part, they are not playing the role of a spiritual teacher, nor do they feel responsible for cleaning up humanity's mess. But they do take to heart the role they are playing as a lighthouse by being on this planet, but not of it. And of course, there are also millions of other human beings who have embraced a completely different role. They are very eager and excited to put into motion a variety of solutions that will help support a more sustainable way of life for all beings on this planet. So no matter what role you are playing in all of this, all of us are acting as supports to each other in service to taking responsibility for providing a new way of being human. So yes, these are indeed incredible times. They offer some truly amazing opportunities, but they also ask of us to stop playing a game we've been playing for a very long time, pretending that we're not the original self with our name on it. That perception has helped to define not only our human history, but from Michael's perspective, it's at the very heart of our cosmic story. So if you felt called to participate in today's live stream, welcome. More than likely, you're tired of just doing the same old human thing over and over again. You're ready to experience being human, but with a lot more passion, a lot more joy. And for all of you that have embraced such a profound choice, speaking for myself, my soul, and oversoul Michael, we want to thank you for your service to such a passion, because it's truly rare, and so are you. So let's take that deep breath here together. As we begin today's session, now allowing all the energies that are here today, including the presence of Michael, but also your own soul nature, that helps support the birthright of every being. To be what? Well, that's really simple. To be yourself. And if it's that simple, why has it become so complicated? Well, we lose that sense of self in all the games people play that sometimes include our own identity. But such a freedom to know who you are isn't for everyone. If you're willing to stop playing games, then we must also allow our own energy from the core of our own soul to now begin to support our human life, sharing the overflow of what we have first received just for ourselves. And that perhaps is the hardest thing to do as a human being. To receive for yourself, to fill yourself up first with your own energy, so that what you are sharing hasn't compromised what you need to support yourself. This is what we mean when we ask you to shine your light. It becomes your radiance. And to some, it just looks really selfish because it doesn't embrace sacrificing yourself as being a type of virtue. And if not for the guilt that most of us inherited, this would feel very natural to all of us. But now, it's very important to shine your light. But for that light to also be unfiltered. Because if it has been filtered by all those conflicted emotions, its impact on this world, well, it's greatly diminished. Then we're back to where we started this session, feeling overwhelmed, but without the clarity to know how to relate to that feeling. So we have spent a lot of time and energy inviting all of you to reclaim your natural state as being sovereign, which of course also impacts the relationship you might have with a variety of people in your life. Because you no longer need, and this might sound strange to some of you, you no longer need to use their energy to help support your own. You discover that if it's really love, true love, then that starts with you. And what others experience from you, if it is about love, is but the overflow of how you feel about you. That doesn't mean you don't appreciate whatever help is being offered. It doesn't mean that you're not willing to lend a hand. You simply no longer rely on energies that are outside of your own to help support your own health and well-being. And of course, that works both ways. You're also no longer allowing even those that you care about to communicate with you energetically by plugging into your physical body emotionally. It's one of the reasons Earth was created, to give all of us, no matter your lineage, no matter your story, the opportunity to clean up our act, to shift our reliance to all of those free-flowing energies that already exist inside of us, to now play a part in our own creations. So before I turn this over to Michael, I want to take this moment to thank all of you once again for allowing Ancient Wings and the teachings of Michael to play a part in your life. It's been an incredible 12 years to play the host on this show. Coco and I have a front row seat in our service to so many of you. We act as a witness to some, of the most incredible changes we have ever seen. We both know firsthand how challenging it can be to reclaim your natural state. So maybe this is just a really good time to move on, because we're at the very beginning of something that is very new on this planet, at least as that relates to being human. This isn't the time to get distracted by all the games people like to play. The current power games, they represent a graphic example of a series of very conflicted emotions. All of us have seen this play out many, many times before. The game itself has a long history connected to it. And of course, they impact the life of those that share the same environment they're being played on. So maybe a time will come for those who are addicted to the battle itself, where they can freely act on those emotions, but in a closed system of reality, one that doesn't impact the lives of those who are willing to extend a hand in friendship. Because the new warrior is one who has the courage to go within. It is here that you discover the origins for the need to do battle. The new leaders, they're willing to take responsibility for their own inner reality. One day, the warriors will find there's no one left to fight. We look forward, as so many of you do too, to that day. So with this earth acting as a witness, we are creating something new. And because it is new, it's natural to question it. But it finally allows the guidance of the soul to now play a part in your life. At first, it starts with just a handful of people waking up, and then a few hundred, and eventually a few thousand. And that is where we are at right now. A few thousand. Maybe we will never see millions of fully conscious human beings on this planet at the same time? Because it really doesn't take more than that to keep the energy flowing on this planet. On that note, enough of the preaching. Take a break for a drink of water. I can hear Michael in the background cheering me on. He seems to like it when I get really passionate about these things. So let's take another deep breath together. As I once again step back and allow what is natural to all of you, that part of your own soul called an oversoul, to step forward. Indeed it is. And welcome, my friends. It is I, Michael. And indeed, your birthright. It is your birthright to freely access any version of your soul nature. And there are a lot of them, no matter their state of consciousness. All of you could access these other versions right now, if not for the density of energy on this planet. It's like a dark cloud that has been hovering above Earth for a very long time. And it acts as a shield to protect itself. Not to protect you, but to protect itself. But from what? Well, from the realization that you are not separated from the source of life. It's just a game that so many are playing. And it can manifest in a variety of ways. But for you, it has taken the form of an energy that pushes against what is unknown to it. Can you not feel that inside of you? When it is the joy and passion of the original self to experience the unknown. And if the name of the game is to pretend not to be the original self, then it pushes against your natural state, this field of energy that is around your entire planet as a soul being. So yes, it is your natural state to have complete and unlimited access to any part of your soul. And over all these lifetimes and 3 different versions of being human, you have experienced both your light and its own shadow countless times. But your shadow part has grown to the point that it almost threatened humanity's future. Over all this time, there have only been a few thousand on this planet who have experienced their natural state. You call these human beings enlightened. They ascended from their own conflicted state of consciousness. Their own ascension wasn't gifted to them by another being. Each of them, in their own unique way, experience what many of you have or are right now experiencing. Both the frustration from not being able to rely on a reliable connection to their soul, and those moments when it all became crystal clear. But the disconnect for them was so awkward, so painful at times, that it inspired them to shift their devotion to being connected to this planet, to being connected to a sovereign state, your natural state of being, but without the physical body. And so they literally ascended, reaffirming for so many that follow their example that you must leave this planet in order to experience being truly divine. Let's take a deep breath there. And just pause a moment in honor of all of you. Because most of you watching this episode have made a very different choice. Not a better choice, just different. You, my friends, insist that your divine nature can indeed coexist with your human self, despite this energy field that is just outside your planet. Your determination and your passion for such an experience has indeed helped to shift that very energy outside this planet, which gave those of us that reside full time in the non-physical realms an entry point, an opening inside the energy field that surrounds your planet, which is supported by a collective belief that you have somehow become disconnected from the rest of creation, disconnected from the source of life. So over all this time, you've had a few who acted as channels for your non-physical counterparts. Doesn't represent a perfect connection, simply because the energy field around this planet is so dense. But it's better than nothing at all. But all of that is also changing. We can feel it in your heart. There are more human beings than ever before that have a heartfelt desire to reconnect with their soul. And for the most part, without being filtered through the beliefs of a variety of different spiritual institutions. The passion for such an experience has greatly impacted the energy on this planet. We, as angelic beings, are here to tell you we didn't do this to you. We didn't do this for you. You created this for yourself. But now we can lend a hand, so to speak, by allowing us to share our presence with your human experience. Together, the openings in the energy field around this planet continue to expand, continue to grow, continue to be more open. This, my friends, is an ongoing process. It is evolving, expanding, and growing as we speak, as all of you continue to release what is no longer yours to carry. And of course, we're talking about the guilt, the shame, and all those self-judgments that for the most part, all of you inherited. Your ability to now receive more of what has always been yours is increasing, awakening the very presence of the original self inside of you. You discovered that this very presence will never use force to introduce itself. It will never push itself into your human experience. It makes its presence known by invitation only. And even that is not enough. You must allow it to emerge from the depth of your own being. Such is the true nature of the gift of freedom all of us were granted by the original self. Some of you have yearned to feel this presence your whole life. Some of you were told you don't deserve, or are you even qualified to experience God, the original self, just as you are? Who do you think you are? Well, of course, you're the original self too, but with your name on it. So shame on those who continue to profit from such a power play. But as you now allow this very presence to emerge from within, your light takes on a very different quality. You attract to you more of who you truly are. And because of that, it is attracted to earth the very presence of the Christ light, a light that is now fully anchored in service to any being who serves the natural state of all beings as being sovereign creators of your own experience. Now, as good as all this sounds, at least to some of you, can you also accept that this is just the beginning of what is about to unfold? And from our perspective, the changes are happening about as fast as they can without creating more imbalance, both to your physical body, to your emotional body, and to the earth itself. So during this very intense time of transformation, do your best, my friends, not to rely on humanity's reaction to these changes as evidence that these changes are even real. It will appear at times that this human family will insist on taking 2 steps back for every step forward. But perhaps for the first time in a very long time, when they do try to go back to their old ways, it will feel very different. And that can be truly frustrating. Have you not found that true in your own life? Every time you take a leap into the unknown, another part of you wants to return to what is known, only to find what used to comfort you no longer does, simply because what you experienced in the unknown stirred up something deep in your heart. It brought the original self closer to you, a sense of joy that almost got buried inside of all those games. So this cycle, it will continue to repeat itself over and over again for some. But your passion for something new will also continue to grow because you were willing to stop pretending you're not this divine part too. And that begins and starts with accepting who you are right now as you are, which allows then that part to grow, expand. That represents an emerging state of consciousness on this planet. And it will take a while for this human family to actually embrace these changes for themselves. But at its core, it will also start to accept that the presence of spirit has always resided from within, which of course will upset many of your current institutions that support themselves by promoting just the opposite. So as this current year starts to unravel, unfold, and reveal something new, be prepared for some awkward moments, both in your own life and with those that you share this planet with. But what can be constant, what you can now rely on more than ever before, is your own presence, your own energy in the form of your soul. Let this part of you be of service to your human self. We have the honor of serving those that have allowed their own energy to be present. That speaks volumes about the trust you now have in yourself and in your own integrity. So, as 2024 starts out slowly, but more than likely ends with quite the bang, spend more quality time doing what? We recommend being in your drama-free zone. And if you need to reconnect to that by visiting the drama-free page on our website, then do so. Make that the drama-free zone the very foundation that supports your emerging new identity. Within that choice, you can more easily observe the changes that are happening and will continue to happen all around you. The experience that others have chosen for themselves. And you must allow them to choose that for themselves. But that's not an easy thing to do, is it? If we're back to feeling that life can just happen to anyone at any time without their conscious permission. That perspective, my friends, denies you the ability to be able to create your own experience. So let's take another deep breath. There are a lot of human beings on this planet, as we speak, who are simply tired of being human. And perhaps for the first time, if they choose to leave and then to reincarnate again on this planet, perhaps for the first time, they will spend a little more time considering the choice all of you made in regard to the family, to the gender, to the country and the culture you birth yourself into, at the risk of being judged by those you have pledged your allegiance, your loyalty to in most of your previous lifetimes. And of course, with the emergence of AIs and nanotechnology, incarnating into a biological body won't be the only option. Offering any being the opportunity to experience being human without the lineage and history that is contained in these cellular networks call it a physical body, which of course makes it so much easier to experience your energy, yourself, as being sovereign. So life on earth is about to truly speed up, both from the influence of your energy and from your growing technology, which many, of course, will celebrate, as it truly does offer a way to improve the human experience beyond your wildest dreams, but will also raise major concerns, as it should, as that relates to who is controlling or serving whom. Your history as a species doesn't necessarily ease your concerns if the addiction to these power games isn't acknowledged and finally set free. And we don't see the power players lining up to lay down their sword anytime soon. But what we do see is you devoting yourself to being a beacon of light on this planet, to counter what is also happening, which doesn't force any being to do anything against their own will, but it does inspire those who are more heart-centered to now act from their heart. We see a growing, deliberate stance that has many declaring that enough is enough, no longer content just to exist on the sidelines. They are tired of cleaning up the mess left behind from so many of these power games, tired of their voice not being heard, tired of the game altogether, which they didn't agree to participate in. Your radiance inspires people to begin to look outside the box, to step outside of their own comfort zone, and begin to claim the life they have chosen to live. One that hasn't given any being, anywhere, the right to choose for them. So yes, 2024 is just the beginning of something new. Humanity has been seduced by fear and all the games that support it. It seems like forever that something different has come along. But that something different is right now. Both from those that feel called to share a light that has no agenda, and from those that feel called to become actively involved. Both individuals and groups can now support each other. Don't let the battle cries and the drama divide you. Imagine a possibility in less than 30 years. The family of humanity agrees to collectively take ownership of their own experience. By declaring what? By declaring no more games. The games are over. So many of you feel this in your heart. We know that some of you just can't bear to have your heart broken once again, one more time, from believing in such a possibility, only to witness more conflict, more destruction. but from all the potentials that we can see that exist in your near future, it is your freedom that has the most energy to support it. So we leave today to remind you, no matter what happens, now, you are never alone. Those dark clouds that have filtered the relationship we have offered, they have changed. Now, we are but a breath away. Thank you for your service to the human experience. It is deeply appreciated. Until our next gathering, be well, my friends.